Hi guys, how's it going? Thank you for taking the time to have this interview with me. I know this was really last minute, kind of some crazy stuff that's happening to you guys, and as you've seen by our other videos, this is happening all over Yavapai County. We found out recently that this has been going on for some time, and we didn't even realize it. And just now, people are starting to be brave enough to come forward and share their stories, and what I'm doing is we're creating these videos to help get the story out there quicker and to more people. So thank you for having the courage to do that with me. Just to summarize a little bit for the people watching this video, you were contacted by Yavapai County Code Enforcement for some violations that they found on your property due to a complaint that they were given. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And was that complaint from any of your neighbors?
No.
So the complaint, just to be clear, Yavapai County Code Enforcement, they're supposed to respond to legitimate complaints from people in your area, like neighbors, for example. For example, if you have a bunch of pigs in your backyard and the smell is bothering your neighbor right next door, that's a legitimate complaint and requires moderation.
Yes.
Let's say you have a tree that's growing over a fence and it's dropping, dead fruit or something in somebody's yard. That's something that requires moderation. Can you explain what the issues were, what you were fined for, or what they threatened to fine you for on your property?
They're saying that we have too many shipping containers on our property.
A little bit louder?
They're saying we have too many shipping containers that are on our property, which have been here for 10 years. We've never had a complaint, and they said that they had a complaint from Public Works.
So Public Works filed a complaint based on how many shipping containers do you have on your property?
We have 5.
And how big is your property?
2.68 acres.
2.68 acres. But none of your neighbors complained, and the shipping containers have been here for how long?
Almost 10 years.
And so I don't have time in this video to go around and show all of the viewers how beautiful your property is. Just driving up today, your property is beautiful. It's very well maintained, and the shipping containers, they're painted to match your home. They're very nicely placed. They're not just randomly spaced around your property.
Correct.
And they're used for a community yard sale that you guys facilitate, right?
Yes.
And a bunch of people in this community have benefited from your yard sale that you guys have, right?
Yes.
And you don't have the yard sale every day.
No. No.
It's just on occasion, right?
Just on occasion.
And you haven't had any complaints in 10 years.
That's correct.
But all of a sudden the county is coming in and threatening you with fines and saying you're in violation.
That's true.
So the main thing that sparked us feeling like we needed to do this interview is because you received a pretty disturbing phone call at 7:31 this morning. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Can you explain to me what led up to that phone call and what was said on that phone call?
Yes, I wrote a letter to Paul Gosart,
Who is?
our representative for Yavapai County, and I just, explained to him what was going on and that I felt like I was being unfairly harassed by code enforcement, and that a gentleman had showed up outside my gate and yelled at me. I didn't even know what he was yelling. I went out to find out what he was yelling about, and he said he was with the county, and he wanted to know just how many acres I have here and what do I think I'm doing with those shipping containers.
Can I, just a little pause there, and who was that was, just to be clear, a representative was yelling at you?
Yes.
On your property, and who was that, did it turn out to be? Is it David Dieterle?
It is David Dieterle.
So David Dieterle is the county code enforcement officer. Okay,
Yes.
Go ahead.
I kind of said, excuse me, and he said, just who do you think you are, little lady? You can't have these containers here, and we're going to see what we're going to do about this. And I said, why is that? And he says, well, we've had complaints. And I said, from whom? And he said, from Public Works. And I said, I think I know who complained, and it's a man from ADOT, Arizona Department of transportation.
Okay.
And he says, well, you'll have to file a Freedom of Information Act to find that out. And I said, well, I do know it was him. And then he just proceeded to pull his camera out and start taking pictures. And some of those pictures had me in it. I felt very attacked.
So again, just to be clear, and we're going to summarize this as quickly as possible here. He yelled at you.
Yes.
Is this a private road?
This is a private road.
So the road right in front of this, again, beautiful property is a private easement. So he was directly in front of their property on a private easement.
Correct.
Yelled at you, and then without your permission started taking photographs from a private road.
Yes.
Of your private property with you in them.
Yes. Then he got in his truck and proceeded down the road and then alongside our property and went on to the private property behind us, went into their yard, got out of his truck, and started taking pictures from their private property of my home and of me.
Okay, so you contacted our legislative representative.
Correct.
To address some concerns about this.
Yes.
Because you felt threatened and you felt like that was wrong, which anybody would feel that way after something like that. And then what happened this morning?
Then this morning about 7:31, I received a call from a gentleman who said his name was
David Williams.
David Williams,
and
the Director of Development Services.
That's what he said. But I had just woken up, and
well,
I was
7:30 in the morning.
7:30
yeah.
in the morning. I normally am up earlier than that, but this
Right.
was a good day of getting some sleep, and so I was a little taken back. It took me a minute to kind of register even who that was, and then he says, "Well, I understand that you wrote a letter to Paul Gosar. You contacted him, and he contacted Craig Brown, which in turn contacted me." And he goes, "All you're doing, lady, is making a problem for yourself because David Brown will have to recuse himself from this case." And I said, "Excuse me?"
You mean Craig Brown?
I mean Craig Brown.
So Craig Brown, just for the sake of you watching who don't know who that is our district supervisor. District 4 supervisor, Yavapai County.
And I told him, I don't know who Craig Brown is even. And yes, I did contact Paul Gosar. And I believe I have a right to contact my congressman. And he says, this isn't a political issue. And I said, well, I kind of feel like it is.
Well, you feel like you need to reach out for help. They're
Yeah.
not really leaving us with any other options. And
If you can't get it done local, you need to go to the feds, right?
so just reiterate again and clarify. You reached out
Yes.
looking for help and information, the right thing to do. That information in turn trickled down to our district supervisor, who in turn contacted the Director of Development Services here for Yavapai County, who is one of the root issues with all of this going on, and he got very upset about that. Called
Yes.
you before normal business hours, harassed you, was very hostile on the phone, was very threatening. Is that correct?
That's correct.
At 7:30 in the morning.
7:30 in the morning. And said that if I didn't comply by the 25th when they're coming back out for reinspection, or apply for a variance or a use permit,
Which was how much?
$680, non-refundable, whether or not they approve it or not.
That's just for the application.
Just
for the review.
for the application.
Okay.
That they're going to take me to court and I'll be fined and or could go to jail if I don't comply.
He said that. He
He
threatened.
did say
He threatened you with jail time.
He did.
Okay, guys. I think that pretty much sums it up here. We don't have too much time left in this video. Everything about that is wrong. And if you
Feels that
watch
way.
it, it's not right. If you watching this can in any way justify those methods or what they're doing, I personally am not going to waste my time trying to convince anybody otherwise. This is just wrong. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to do this interview. Thank you for sharing this story. We don't know why this is happening to so many people in our area, but we're going to get to the bottom of it. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.